you need to think about those things that are deal breaker for you. It may be, for example, it may be just respect. If you notice that your spouse respects you, but the family can disrespect you without the
Spouse
spouse
saying
standing
anything.
and make it known that this is wrong, I won't accept this for my
It's going to
wife.
continue.
While
That's
you are
it.
dating, you will chop plenty
Breakfast.
breakfast. Hello.
Hi. We have come again. Welcome to our channel.
Welcome to our channel.
So today we have an interesting, I consider it to be very interesting because it's a very dynamic topic. Can go this way, go that way. We're looking into whether it's important to consider in-laws in a relationship that is going to lead towards marriage.
Yep. See, did you say is it important?
Yeah, whether it's important or not.
Depends. It depends on which part of the world you are in.
Yeah, you're right. You know, there are two. We'll talk about that. That's the next to talk about. It just came to mind that there are two angles to it. There's the I love you, that's all.
Yeah.
But does it work that way?
It doesn't. It
depends.
It depends again.
Anyway, that's why we have to break it down and really talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, there are people that love each other and they're like, it's all about me.
We've read it in books now.
and
They
my
will elope.
wife, it's all about me.
They will elope. They will
and my
run to
partner,
another part of the
you
world
know.
and they will live happily ever after.
Yeah. It only happens in
M&B.
the story.
Okay, so well, like he said, it's important to consider it from the cultural angle.
Yeah.
Because
It's very important.
where we come from in Africa and most Asian countries, it's collectivism,
Yeah.
meaning there is interdependency when it comes to relationships.
Yeah.
In the Western part of the world, this part of the world, it's individualism, meaning it's me, myself, and I. There's a sense of independence in decision making, in all that. So maybe in this part of the world, maybe they don't have to consider. Well, most times, yeah. But
but
where we
even
come
them
from,
too.
even them, they do. They are family oriented to a large extent,
Yes.
even though they are individualistic. But
Yeah.
they've come to. I think even their parents have come to realize that they need to just respect their decision because of the way they are
Yes.
brought up. So
Yeah.
that's how it works here. But in our culture,
You marry into a family.
yes.
And I think it's one thing anyone from Africa or Asia should remember. You marry into a family, and so it is important to ask the right questions. I mean, and because family does have a lot of influence and marital relationship, and so especially for people that are yet to get married, you want to ask this question. You want to know about the family. You also, this other one is difficult, but it's probably the most important. You want to know the influence of the family in-laws on the daughter or the son or the husband, whoever the person is that's trying to get married. Because you can love someone and truly love the person, but the influence of the
Person's
of
own biblical code is still tied to the family house.
yeah and
So the person is still, anything that happens there
yeah
affects the person and affects your home.
yeah, which is fine, which would always be, but wait,
Is it
it should
fine?
it shouldn't no, I mean, it can affect you, but it shouldn't affect your home.
Yeah.
But where I'm going is that if the influence is greater than the love and commitment you have for
each other, for each other.
for each other, that is where
Yeah, because you end up, I understand what you're saying, you end up considering them in some
yeah it
regards.
will always happen that you
But
consider.
most times, if values align, you won't even have to think about them. You think about you and it will still fall in place.
Yeah, but that's between the two parties that want to get married.
Yeah, okay.
But when it now comes to the influence they have on either party, if the influence is greater than the decision both people make, or the love, or however you want to say it, then it can become a threat to that relationship.
So at that point, you should think very well.
Yeah,
Because you want to be sure who is going to be who you're getting married to.
yeah, exactly. Because you
If
might be getting married to a docking station. You know what the docking station
what's
is?
that? So
Not the so a docking station is so we use it in IT. So you have a computer, you dock it into the station, right? So you still be it's still your computer, but it's being controlled by other peripherals instead of you using the computer itself. So I mean, so you can marry to someone, but the controls,
are external.
yeah,
Okay, that's interesting. There's something else too. There's the family doesn't like me.
uh, yeah,
That's
okay.
another issue that can come up.
Yeah, even that one. So, which family doesn't like you? Is it the parents or the
Yeah,
extended?
it's most times we're really talking about parents,
Oh,
siblings, parents especially. It's risky.
it's risky. They don't like you.
You may just want to pause and I don't know. Like we said, in this part of the world, maybe you can elope and or then or maybe they just have to agree. But where we come from, it's kind of risky. You may want to think about it very well. You may want to pray about it. You may want to see if it's going to change.
Yeah.
Because if they don't like you, it's not going to be easy. And the pressure is going to be really much.
Yeah, the pressure is going to be much. I think it's important to talk through it. Know why they don't like you, especially if
See
these
if
are
it
two
can
people that
change.
truly love each
Yeah,
other.
yeah.
It may be that a conversation
Or
but
time.
or
A
time, yeah,
little more
would
time.
help
Yeah.
to understand the person and what is the partner or the spouse to be saying about the other party to
Yeah.
the other party.
That
Is
person
it
has
is
to be
it
consistent
exactly? Is
in,
there a picture
yeah.
that has been painted that is tainting the picture of the other person, or is
Sometimes
there?
it's just class,
Is,
I tell you.
yeah, yeah,
It's rare to find people who
yeah,
allow their kids to, it's romance novels, read those things.
yeah,
But once they see that, they're like, what family are you from? And sometimes it's tribe
yeah,
in our
yeah,
part of the world. It's different
yeah,
things. They
yeah.
just don't want that. But eventually, if with time, maybe they get to know your person beyond the tribe, beyond hopefully with prayer, it's
Yeah.
very possible. All things are possible with
Yeah.
God. If you're convinced that this is what God has done and this is it for you, mountains will shift for your sake.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But I think family has great
It's
influence.
important. That's what we're
I, for
saying.
one, will not marry into a family where I love the lady. Yes, I do. But maybe I know that the father or the mother don't approve of me. I love peace.
My husband loves that word, peace. I've heard it like a million times now in our marriage.
I love peace
Yeah.
too much. And I'll tell the person, I love you. But because of this, it's going to hurt. But, or hurt, as they would say. But I mean, because you would just put yourself in where you always walk on eggshells. And she is whoever you're married to. I mean, I was just using my
Because
own
you're a
saying
man.
the person is still connected to the family.
You can't just cut off like
Ooh, no.
it doesn't just happen that way.
So I mean, you eventually it's going to be is what is called love might create resentment later, even between the
Yeah,
two
there'll be
people,
strange.
because there will be influence.
Yeah.
Because
So
you
much
can't ask
external
the other person
pressure.
not to love their family, except the family had really hurt her or wanted to kill her before or something. But
They weren't in good terms.
yeah, and that is just one side of things. That may seem heavier, but also it is also about um, talking about these things and talking about potential responsibilities that can happen. One of my mentors one time told me, he said, "Nee, I got married to my wife, and with that, I sent over 9 people to school." And we're talking secondary, university. Over there.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
there are a lot of things to talk about uh, from both
Before
parties.
marriage,
Yeah, yeah,
actually,
yeah,
because look at this for us.
yeah.
When we met, I knew that your siblings, some of like the younger ones, not the really younger ones, were probably going to have to, like, your younger sister came to Unilag, so everybody was at the center of the city and we were at the center.
Yeah.
So they might have to stay
Come
with us,
around. Yeah.
more often than,
Yeah.
for a while and all.
Yeah.
And I think it was important to you at the time we met.
Mm-hmm.
But the moment he said it, it didn't sound off to me.
Mm.
I was like, sounds good. You know why?
Yeah.
Because when I was growing up, I grew up with cousins, minimum of 2 or 3 cousins. We are 6, as in my siblings and my parents. We were 6,
Yeah.
and we are 6, and I have 3 siblings, and my parents and me.
Yeah.
Then
Same
we could have same. Then we could have maybe a cousin, 2 cousins, 3 cousins staying for a while, going to school, uni also from our house. And that was the norm for me. And if I was going to cook, for example, my mom would say, apart from us, let's say that's like 8 people minimum. Maybe the person that's going to wash, the laundry person, you cook the person's food so that by the time the person is finishing around 12, the person will eat. You cook maybe 2 drivers. Eventually, I got used to knowing how to cook for 12 people without being feeling it
normal.
off.
That
And it
was
felt
normal for you.
like having people around
Yeah.
was like normal.
Yeah.
So when you said it didn't sound.
Yeah.
Imagine if, I think you said it then, it was that important to you as at then. I think because of some things you had seen.
Yeah.
You said it then that if somebody told you that they weren't going to be able to accommodate that kind of thing, that it was going to be an issue.
Yeah, because
But that was after we got married, I think, or maybe before then. But I picked it.
Yeah.
But for me, it wasn't an issue.
Yeah, because for example,
Yeah.
that's going to be another gist. How I said, Lord, I want my wife to be a lawyer. Because I'm going to be very rich. I don't want to give lawyers to my
Yeah,
wife.
you hear that one another day.
I said, Lord, I'm the firstborn. I want to marry
A lastborn.
a lastborn.
All his wishes came through.
And it came true.
True and through, yes.
Yeah, exactly. And so I'm the firstborn. And
sense of responsibility.
there was a sense of responsibility. I knew that for some time it's possible that 1 or 2 of my siblings might need to stay with me and all that. And it was important to have those kind of discussions because it's possible that
Thank God we had those discussions.
you as a guy, you're in love with someone, you're trying to get married to someone, and the person is saying, I cannot stay with anybody. And that is not wrong. If that is what somebody else desires.
It's not wrong.
You can't think that is wrong for that person. And it may be a deal breaker for another person. So in a situation whereby that is a deal breaker for that person, and you know that this thing, I'm not sure I can avoid it. I mean,
that's
then
why it's good to discuss
it's good to discuss this.
Yeah, it's good to talk about
because
them.
truly, also, the lady, the person that is saying that, I'm speaking from a guy's perspective, a lady that is saying that might have experienced something.
Exactly.
Might have experienced our in-law did something to maybe
just
our
be a
own
very
parents.
private person,
exactly.
Which is fine.
So there's nothing wrong with that, but it's important to discuss all this because else it might be the thing that even breaks some homes.
Yes.
Because
imagine it just comes up in the middle of the marriage, and after 1 year, 2 years, and you're like, okay, these people have to come here, or they are going to be staying here for the next 2 days. Finish uni today, and the wife is like, from where to where?
And for we Africans, there are people also that have siblings that are quite interesting. I mean, we've heard stories of maybe a sibling of the husband commanding the wife
to do this
to
and
go and
that.
cook
So
for
there are too many angles to this thing.
Exactly.
So the discussion is important. So you need to be on the same page, on all these things. Be sure that, okay, this kind of person, if they tell you that, okay, you're our wife, you have to cook for even the younger ones. Exactly. Is okay if you're doing it from that angle of, okay, I'm cooking for everybody, my family, but not you're our wife, you must.
I campaign.
If you're not like that, and if it's okay for you, then it's okay. You can go ahead because I won't say this is wrong, this is right. It's culture, and to a large extent, culture can be honored and respected for what it is.
I mean, for me, I campaign for women a lot because when things happen, they are oftentimes on the receiving
end.
And so, like I was saying, there's some people who, as a lady, when you're marrying, you should be auditing too. When you first of all, okay, especially for people that want to get married, you see that you like the guy and everything, then next thing you want to meet family, you start doing your profiling.
Exactly.
Because family will influence family. siblings will influence siblings and all that. So you want to be measuring the energy and all that, so that you won't eventually get married to someone and a whole lot of things. I mean, and I know from my own side of things, I'm not the, there's the family and there's the extended family. I'm not the extended kind of guy.
Mm-hmm.
But I know on my parents, at least what I saw with my parents' side of things, when they are to doing someone is doing one event, you see Yawole, the Yawoles will go and
Cook
cook
and do
and
those kind of
do those
things.
kind of things. And the truth is, obviously, nobody brought that to me because they know me. but, but they will bring things to you, and as a guy or a woman, you need to audit all these things. Imagine someone now bringing that to me. If I'm not a decisive guy, to and I say, lo, hello, yawole, osonje. You should audit the
That's
person
why
you want
at
to
the end
marry
of the
to.
day,
And it's
at the end
not.
of the day, exactly, you
Mm-hmm.
should look at, hey, the person should be able to be somebody that, can stand their ground,
Exactly.
as a voice,
Yeah,
in the midst of all those
I
things.
think that is very
Those things will
important.
come up
That is very
sometimes.
important
Yeah.
for the two parties.
Yes.
You want to be sure that your spouse, um, is he or she is respected in their family,
Yeah.
so that when they speak, they know them, they know what they represent, they know their values,
It's
and
not
so
that
there is
they
not,
write them or
it's
take
not
them for
exactly.
granted or something.
Obviously, the spouse must be a kind person, must have all the right attributes before you even say you want to get married and all that. But you also want to be sure that you know what they stand for, and they have a voice, in their family, in in their work, in this in every sphere that they're in, so that, because when someone has a voice and you know that this person have their opinion on something and is respected, yeah, um, you know what they stand for. So when, if you're not there, you know what they can say for you.
Exactly.
You know
The
what they
other
can.
time you used to say that, just talk for me or say it for me or do it
Yeah,
for me.
yeah,
I know
because I
that,
respect. I
or
know.
pick it for me. Most
Yeah.
times, even our taste on things, you'll be like,
Hmm.
oh, just, I know it will be the same.
Yeah.
And it always turned out to be like that.
Yeah.
So try and be on the same
The
page.
influence
Not,
of family,
yeah.
in-laws is very great, and I don't think it's something. I mean, for me, it's not something I take lightly, and I'm I'm blessed to have great in-laws. But um, I think for people, especially people that want to get married, it is one thing that people don't talk about, don't look at, and then they get too deep before they start seeing. Some people is when they are getting up, they pick dates, is some days or weeks to that they start learning about these things. These are things to talk about. Uh, it's so deep, man.
Okay, so when I say try and be on the same page, I'm not saying agree on everything together. We're just saying um, try and make sure that your values are the same and this person will stand for you, this one will stand for you, out there.
Yeah.
So are we saying that if I have an issue with the in laws of my prospective spouse, I should just forget about the relationship? Is that
No,
what we are saying?
no, that's not what we're saying.
Okay.
I mean, there are issues
Yeah.
light that are lightweight,
Yeah.
and those that are no.
Yeah, their foundation. They're deep.
Exactly.
They're
You
very.
as an individual should know your no,
Yeah, exactly.
and you know the ones that are
You can
you
compromise
can
on, or you
compromise on.
can, walk around.
So it's important to know that,
Yeah.
and know where to draw the line.
Mm.
So I'm not you, but whoever it is watching us, you need to think about those things that are a deal breaker for you. It may be, for example, it may be just respect. If you notice that your spouse respects you, but the family can disrespect you without the
Spouse
spouse
saying
standing
anything, yeah, standing for you.
something,
It's
so it could
already.
be a deal breaker. Now, it's possible
It's
that
red
they,
lights.
it's possible that they,
It's not could be for me.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
big red lights.
exactly.
That's huge. As in
It is. I'm just trying to sound
big
nice.
lights,
So,
red lights.
but
Yeah,
it's possible. So that might want to be a deal breaker
yeah.
because the guy. But if the guy stands up, and that was the last time anyone tried to do any rubbish, actually they know that if your spouse that's again, we cannot exhaust this topic. Ideally, some people should know that they don't do something to, for me as a guy, now, for example, some people should know that they cannot do anything, they cannot do something to my wife and think they will go. You understand? Mm-mm. Why you are thinking that you want to do something wrong to my wife or wife to be, I mean, because of a scenario painting. I don't even, maybe because of who I am, nobody will even dare that.
Man.
You know,
This is how he is.
you know.
He's very,
I,
very,
I,
I won't say strict.
I, I don't think
He's
any.
very, what is that to
I
describe
don't
you?
know. The thing is, I don't think I
But
put
it's a very
myself in.
positive trait. He
I don't
knows
think.
what he's doing, he knows what he wants, and he stands his ground. And he's known to speak his mind when he has to.
So I wouldn't. I don't think anybody would do that. But so in a scenario where some some family member disrespect the lady for whatever reason, hopefully not for any negative reason, but maybe for just out of um, disrespect, maybe something simple but was quite disrespectful to her. If the spouse is not the kind of person that will rise up and say something and make it known that this is wrong, I won't accept this from my
It's
wife.
going to continue.
If it's not someone that speaks up for you,
Yeah.
while you are dating, you will chop plenty
Breakfast.
breakfast.
As in, breakfast just
So
starts
you want to be
in
sure
one
that your
place.
spouse are people. For example, we have I have such
We're
a
actually
wonderful
blessed with.
in-laws, right?
Yeah.
But I know that there's nothing that can happen in my wife's family, that I would need to go and defend myself for. I know she's got me. In my
Same
family,
thing.
nothing
Yeah.
can happen. I believe nothing.
We actually
But
have our backgrounds. We don't have similar backgrounds, but we
mm,
have similar values
yeah,
from our parents.
yes,
So
yes.
the two families are just like,
Just
yeah, we're just everything.
amazing.
Yeah. So, but if anything, there will always be
I won't have to.
something.
I won't have to
Exactly.
cross. I trust her to handle it, and she trusts me to handle
Exactly.
that. You
And
want that kind of
yeah.
relationship where you know that nothing will cross over, and
as much as possible, don't let it be the other person that has to come and handle it.
yeah.
Or this other person.
Exactly.
It's not healthy that way.
It's not healthy, and so
Yeah.
those are things. I mean, it's such. But I think it's important to know the deal breakers and the things that are negotiable. But you want to make sure that whoever you're getting married to has got a voice. They've got an opinion that is respected in the family. So that way, you know that, and be sure that this is someone that would defend you.
I think that's
Those are
key.
so when that one is already there, even if anything wants to come, you already know you've got someone that will protect you in that way. Not having that is where the
It's
issue
already
is.
not a good start.
Because there are people, for example, we've seen stories now. Maybe the guy's mother, for example. I'm constantly speaking from a guy because I'm a guy.
You're a guy. I
know. So we've heard stories whereby the guy's mother will come and will be commanding the wife up and down, do anything.
It happens a lot
and just influencing
Africa.
in Africa.
Our culture, Nigeria.
And just so if all that is happening and a guy is not speaking for the lady, I say, my wife is not a maid. I mean, yeah, there's some things the woman also should want to do
willingly as
and all
a
that.
just as
there are
a
a lot of
hostess.
factors.
No, I won't see
that
it as like
influence-
a lot of things are modern.
Yeah.
A lot of things we've evolved as a nation. Even our culture has evolved. So even if I'm going to attend to these things, I'm not looking at it as, oh, I'm a woman. It is my duty to attend to. I'm thinking, I love to cook. I have guests. I want my guests to be fine.
Yeah.
I want everybody to be happy. I want them to leave this place and remember that I enjoyed myself in that. And even if I'm not thinking it that way, but at least that should be. Let them have a good time. Let me take care of them. It's not because I'm thinking I am the wife. It is my duty to. It is my responsibility to. No, generally, I just take responsibility as a human being who has guests to make sure that everybody is fine.
And I think
anybody can
any
exactly.
woman should want to do that for, especially when in-laws come, right? As in, I'm not saying cook.
Sometimes
I'm not saying cook.
man too can
Man,
do.
man too can do it. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
I think
Man too can
eventually
do it. Yes.
when they understand each
Yeah,
other,
yeah.
when they understand what some women are not as, expressive in that regard.
Yeah.
It might be the man
Yeah.
that really likes to, maybe cook.
Yeah.
Some men like
Yeah,
to cook
yeah,
and his
yeah,
wife. But eventually when it gets done, when everybody makes sure that maybe the wife,
Yeah.
I want needs to make sure that, okay, this bedroom looks very exotic and they feel like they're in a hotel. Let everybody
yeah.
just do their part and make sure. So it shouldn't be out of,
Yeah, yeah.
things
I
have
mean,
evolved.
yeah, yeah. Mine is just that nobody comes to disrespect
Yeah.
you from the opposite family without someone without your
Yeah.
partner or your
Standing there,
spouse
putting a foot
putting
down,
it say
like
this
is my stand.
this is
This
my
is what you
stand,
should
this is
do.
not good.
Here's the
Exactly.
boundary.
Exactly.
Don't
Because
cross.
knowing that before marriage is better, but you don't want to be in the battle before you realize it. And it can be a red flag, like we said, knowing that this is what I'll take, this is what I won't take.
And the fact that the in-laws can actually be a very big blessing.
Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes. It can be
Can
a
actually be
blessing.
a huge blessing.
Yeah, yeah. Some people, I mean, it's the in-law that has even helped the relationship more
Yeah,
and
to
bless them more.
thrive in
Yes.
different ways.
Yeah.
Some, support different things. So it's a very good thing. It's not wrong to have a culture where in-laws are regarded in marriage.
Yeah.
It's just that it's first a personal thing between the two. It's first a couple thing before it's the in-law thing. So you need to look at if the person is going to stand the ground for you,
Yeah.
and then you now look at if the family supports you or likes you. If not, then you can negotiate your way around it, whether it's going to work, if it's or not, And ultimately, the family is also not necessarily a negative thing.
Yeah.
It can be a huge blessing if it's right, if it's right. So I think that's what we've really.
Yeah, yeah, that's what that.
It's
Yeah, that's
today,
it.
like
It's
in
a
summary.
good thing. Yeah, it is
As
a
a
good thing.
summary, as a summary share. Oh God, I don't know. Please pardon my English.
You
I'll
want
find
to
it.
summary flies.
I was trying to coin something. It didn't work. I beg, leave me.
Yeah, I mean, in-laws can be a blessing, and for some, it can be a
Thorn in the flesh.
exactly. So, this is one of the things if you're yet to get married, you want to
Pay attention
to. Some you will ask, some you shall observe.
And some you shall flee from.
Well, well.
Some we shall flee from. We shall bring hot topics. Even under this one, there's a lot to talk about.
Exactly. There's a lot to talk
the
about.
tribe one, the class one. I've seen all sorts.
Yeah, I am. Yeah.
So those are topics on their own. So just relax.
Yeah.
Pay attention. We have loads coming your way.
Yes, we've got loads coming your way.
So it's been nice having you here. Thank you so much for staying for this long, listening to us.
If you're watching this, you are the real MVP.
You're the real deal.
Yeah.
And we hope to connect with our viewers one way or another.
Yeah.
As time
goes on, we'll maybe do a live sessions where people can ask questions.
And sometimes you can even have some form of meetups.
Yeah, it's gonna be nice.
We'll be talking about that later, Shabo. Just giving you tips here and there.
Yep.
So until we come your way again next time, well, we're not likely to be talking about in-laws next time, but we'll talk about something you're gonna love.
Yeah.
Something interesting. So stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
Bye for now.